Hi everyone, Julie is here and glad to see my channel, Russian. And the theme today's video will be why is driving on the left in Ireland. So let's begin. Today I will answer the question from the series of general knowledge that one way or another comes to our mind when we encounter in new conditions in new life. Our country will also appear because the answer of the questions does not lie precisely in Ireland, but rather in casual relationship.
To date, only 4 countries in Europe have left-hand traffic: Great Britain, Ireland, Malta, and Cyprus. And this does not include the English colonies. In Asia, Bangladesh, Brunei, India, Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, Singapore, Thailand, Sri Lanka, East Timor, and in Africa, Botswana, Kenya, Lesotho, Mauritius, Mozambique.
The history of the emergence of the left-hand traffic is confusing and is rooted in the distant past. After all, by and large, most people are right-handed. For example, pedestrians, in order to protect their property, carried on the right shoulder, instinctively climbed to the right side on the road. Crews and wagons were also taken to the right. When passing, it's easier to pull the reins in the direction of the strong hand. But for warriors, on the contrary, it's better to diverge on the left side. In case of conflict, striking hand with sword is closer to the opponent.
In addition, it's known for certain that in the Roman Empire there was a left-hand traffic due to just the same large number of constantly moving troops. That excavations of an ancient quarry have shown that the left track is more broken than the right one. This means that cargo was taken out along it, and empty wagons were moving along the right towards the quarry. As you can see, 2 opposite systems already emerging. And after humanity stopped, even it for a while, suspecting every enemy they met, right-hand traffic began to take shape on the roads. As already mentioned, this is due to human psychology. There is historical evidence that even in the time of Peter it was customary to take to the right when driving with an oncoming carriage or sleigh. And officially, right-hand traffic was introduced in 1752 by Empress Елизавета Petrovna. However, in England in 1776, we turn out to be true to ancient Roman traditions. The Road Act was adopted, which introduced left-hand traffic. In other countries, there was some chaos on this issue. It's generally accepted that Napoleon introduced right-hand traffic in continental Europe, extending the French rules of the road to the entire continent. True, this applied only to countries that were under his subordination.
It was England that became the main reason for the spread of the left-handed traffic around the world. First of all, we're telling about its colonies: India, Australia, and others. Japan became left-handed after the British built the first railway. By the way, in Russia there is also left-handed traffic. This is Moscow-Ryazan section.
But back to the roads and the first cars. The first horseless carriage were controlled by a saber sticking out of the floor. He needed a lot of strength, so the driver sat on the left and controlled with his right hand. The inconvenient lever was eventually replaced by a steering wheel. You need to twist it with both hands, but for this you had to sit right behind it. At first, the steering wheel was placed closer to the edge of the road, on the right for right-hand traffic and on the left for left-hand traffic. This made it easier for the driver to get out. But there were more cars, and the main attention of the driver began to be occupied by oncoming and overtaking cars. That's why he was transplanted. The first left-hand drive model with a proper driving position was the 1908 Ford T. By the 1920s, on the vast majority of cars, the driver's seat was located on the side of the oncoming traffic. Gradually, most countries also adopted right-hand traffic. Belgium in 1899, Portugal in 1928, Spain in 1930, Austria and Czechoslovakia in 1938.
Interesting story about Sweden. Sweden corrected only in 1967. It was the last country in the continental Europe to keep drive on the left. In addition, all cars in Sweden were left-hand drive. Manufacturers simply did not make right-hand drive cars for such small market. However, once upon a time, inhabitants of Sweden woke up and got acquainted with the decision on the transition to the right-hand traffic. All cars simply moved to the other side of the road and began driving according to the new rules. In 1968, inspired by example of Sweden, Iceland carried out a similar operation under the same name. I think the answer to the question why in Ireland left-hand driving can be considered closed. This happened historically, not without participation of neighboring country. And I also recommend to watch my video how to buy a car in Ireland, clicking by here. And by the way, subscribe to my channel, mark the bell in order not to miss new release, and push the button if you like this video. Move on.
And if we talk about some nuances, then driving into a left-handed country with a right-handed car and vice versa is legal in most cases. It's much harder for the wrong car to get registered. In Australia, left-hand drive cars are simply prohibited. Those who import them must definitely invest in conversations. In New Zealand, you need to get a special permit, and in Slovakia and Lithuania, right-hand drive cars simply not registered. In Russia, a few years ago, there were calls for the acquisition of right-hand drive cars. This was largely due to the import of used cars from Japan. But with the growth of wealth, people began to prefer to buy new cars, and they are delivered already with the left wheel, so the problem disappeared by itself.
Let's finish our left topic with the fact that Irish believe that their roads were made by drinking Irishmen. That's why they look like that. At the expense of Russian comes another saying, fools and roads. Or maybe you know something else? Write in the comments. Well, I say so much, but you got a lot of stuff to talk about. See you next thematic video.